Let's talk about dinks. All right, let's talk about dinks. I've been seeing this word everywhere, and I'm embarrassed to say that I actually had to Google it to figure out what the heck it stood for. So that is today's topic. Dinks are dual income, no kids households. Now, I want to know. I don't know if I would identify as a dink because I have a stepson and I haven't dated anybody who hasn't had kids in like 9 or 10 years. So, I would say I'm not a dink, and plus I'm pregnant. So, but if there are any dinks in the chat, F's in the chat if you're a dink because, I think it's interesting. It's and it's something that I'm seeing a lot of videos about on TikTok. TikTok. Oh, Chrissy. On TikTok, it's being kind of glamorized. And just like I noticed while I was in college, I noticed how feminism was sort of glamorized and seen as the the cool best way to live your life. I think I'm starting to see it now happening with this dink life. And I'm trying to figure out, is the dink lifestyle a cope or are these folks really happier than those of us that have kids? I don't know. That's what we're here to talk about today. Dinkelberg, yeah, Dink. We have Dink Pride. You know what? Yeah, D's in the chat if you're a Dink. Let me see your D's. Okay. Dinks, 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 dinks. Where should we start? God, there's so many. Everyone's talking about this right now. Everyone's on to the Dink life. Okay. This is a pretty new article from yesterday. Dink couple face furious backlash for boasting about the perks of their child free lifestyle, as they're branded sad losers by critics. First of all, I can already tell from this article, this couple is 21. You're not a dink if you're in your I don't think I consider you a dink if you're still in your 20s. Everyone's getting married later, everyone's having kids later. You're coming at me saying these kids are 21 and they don't have kids yet. You're not a dink. You're still kids. You're still figuring it out. Anyway, Lily Ann, 21, and her husband, Evan, 21, from Utah, are in a dink relationship. I would say if both people are under 30, under 28, you're not dinks. I think if you're older than 30, you begin to qualify as a dink. Is that fair to say? Anyway, this couple has a dual income and no kids. They went viral on TikTok after bragging about their infant-free lifestyle. What how many 21-year-olds are having kids? I think, we're gonna have to wade our way through who's just trying to get attention, for not having kids and who is genuinely happier. So a couple in a dual income, no kids relationship, otherwise known as DINKs, are facing furious backlash after boasting about all the things they get to do because they don't have kids. Lily Ann, 21, and her husband, 20. They're from Utah and they're already okay. So they're Utah. Are they Mormon? They're already married at 21, which might be a mistake. It's fine, I guess. They're part of the and is there a DINK like Facebook group? All right, I'll get to that one next. Yes. This is the TikTok that's been popping off quite a bit this week. The Lovebirds, who have been together since they were 16. Yikes. So this might be the only boyfriend-girlfriend situation these guys have had. This might be their only relationship. They're still kids, basically. You meet somebody, you stay with them as a teenager, like, you God, they're just barely beginning to come out of being kids. I don't think you stop being a kid, I think, till 25. Then you begin to become an adult. Anyway, they took to TikTok to brag about their infant-free lifestyle that sees them splurging on Costco trips. Wow, Costco, really living in the lap of luxury and making every night a date night, which is what you should be doing before you have kids as a 21-year-old. Why does everything have to have a damn title and a community? This is called just being 21. And while they may be loving their carefree life, people on the web have slammed them for showing off the benefits of not having kids, with many users branding them jerks. They look okay. He looks older than 21. What you know what's dinky? This a man in a pink shirt like this. A man in a shade of pink like this, that's dinky. And I like he's hiding behind her because he's out of shape. Evan and I watching you guys blow up my comment section over some lighthearted joke. Mm, I think you're trying to feel good about yourselves. Who knows? Maybe they did this because they are part of a Mormon community that does put a lot of pressure on people to have kids right away. Because I think normally you'd be like, "Oh, you're 21. You have so much time. No need to get dinky yet, or no need to even call yourself a dink." They bragged about it. The viral clip, which has amassed over 3.2 million views, was captioned "Living the best life, the dink life." In the video, the duo took turns boasting about the pros of being child free. Lily said, "We're dinks. We're going to get asked daily when we plan on having kids." Evan responded, "We're dinks. Of course we're gonna go out to eat every night," which is not the line the fat guy should have said. I think she should have gotten that line about eating out, uh, every night. Then his spouse boasted about never having to ask for financial help or a babysitter. "We're dinks. We're going to Costco to buy all the snacks we want," Evan said. Again, the fat guy should not be talking about snacks. That's you're only setting yourself up for ridicule. The 21-year-olds noted that they loved being able to spend their money on themselves and not on a kid. You still are kids. You're 21. Can you even rent a car yet? Meanwhile, Evan bragged about wanting to attend every football game and play golf for as long as he wants. Okay, this is fine. Come back in 10 years and see if this all still applies to you. Then you can be a dink. Let's watch this dinky TikTok.
We're dinks. We're gonna get asked daily when we plan on having kids.
We're dinks. Of course, we're going to go out to eat every night after work.
We're dinks. We don't have to ask our family for financial help or to watch our kid when we want to go out.
We're dinks. We're going to go to Costco and buy all the snacks in bulk that we want.
We're dinks. We have disposable income to spend on whatever we would like and don't have to spend on a kid.
We're dinks. I'm going to go to every football game and play 18 holes whenever I want.
We're dinks. We're gonna get asked to every single family event what we're doing with our life.
Oh, okay. Doesn't this TikTok look a little bit like a cope to you? I smell a cope. At the end of the video, Lily says, "We're dinks. We're gonna get asked every family event what we're doing with our lives." See, like, why are you putting that in a video if you're not you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of these TikToks are projection. If you're truly comfortable with where you're at, you don't need to defend yourself to anybody. You don't need to be like, I'm happy. Get away from me. Look how happy I am. look how look how I'm living the life the way I want." Stop asking me when I'm gonna have kids. I'm fine." Like if you're truly comfortable in yourself, you don't have to say shit. People on the web flooded the comment section and expressed their fury towards the couple. One person said, "Weird flex." Another user wrote, "It's weird that they list things that you can literally do while having a kid." Yes, another great point. They can buy the snack. What do they think? You have kids and you stop eating snacks that you like? If anything, being a parent gives you an excuse to get completely out of shape from what I see. Uh, so it's like you can always say, "Oh, I didn't have time to go to the gym, kids." You know, someone else wrote, "Jerks. Y'all sound like the losers that didn't get invited to the party and act like they don't want to go," commented another person. "You can still do all of that with kids. Yes, you can still play golf whenever you want and go to games whenever you want. You just got to work it out." "Poor sad life," wrote another person. It seems like a sad lifestyle. However, other people defended the couple and said they wished they were living their life. One person said, "I need." Another person commented, "I'm so excited for this. I love this," added someone else. One user added, "Gosh, I wish I was you. I don't wish I was living in Utah walking around in the snow with an obese man. No, I don't wish I had that." The term DINK, which means dual income, no kids, has gone viral on the video sharing app as more and more couples opt out of having babies. The expression actually dates back. See, this I thought this was a new thing. This dinky thing is not new. The expression dates back to 1987 and was first coined by the Los Angeles Times when researchers noted that stalling incomes were deterring would-be parents from starting families. Birth rates in America fell to record lows in the year 2020 amid ongoing distress over the coronavirus pandemic. Remember during the pandemic, we were all talking about, wow, it's going to be a baby boom. It's going to be a pandemic baby boom. Everyone's home, everyone's boning. Guess what? It wasn't. People were freaking out. Only 3.4 million babies were born, marking a 4% decline on the year before and the lowest number of children being born since 1979. So not only was there no pandemic baby boom, it was less. It wasn't even the same. It was less. A study by Pew Research Center in 2021 found that 44% of non-parents aged between 18 and 49 said they were not likely at all uh, are not too likely to ever have children, up by 7% since 2018. 44% of non-parents between 18 and 49 said they were not likely at all to become parents. That's a lot. That's almost half. Couples cited financial concerns among their reasons for staving off the decision. That's where I was at in my 20s. I was freaking so scared at the idea of having kids. I was like, I will never ever make enough money. And now it's like I still don't make enough money, but that's no longer one of my reasons. Since then, birth rates have picked up slightly by 0.9% in 2021 and by the same amount again in 2022. But rising inflation and the cost of childcare, which underwent its largest annual increase since 1991 last year, is feared to put more and more couples off of having babies. See, they have you have the very realistic concerns, which is money. A lot of us millennials are not able to afford houses. Statistically, it's just harder to buy a house now. The interest rates are through the damn roof. So, uh, I'm gonna have to see if I see stats. You don't hear a lot about Gen Xers. I think the Gen Xers were the last generation to like basically get everything they wanted. It's so hard being a millennial. Okay, let's read on. Elon Musk hits out at a viral video of Dink. So the Elon is the opposite of a Dink. Like he can afford to have all the kids. Uh maybe he's not the person for everyone to be comparing themselves to. Just like don't compare yourself to a celebrity. And that's what the celebrities kind of did with feminism and I think that's what they're going to do with Dinkism. A lot of us still look to way less than it was I think in the 90s. Celebrity culture is not as important or impactful as it was, say, like in the 80s or the 90s or even the very early aughts. Now, I think by and large, a lot of us are over celebrities and don't look to them for how to live our lives. But I think celebrities, by and large, really popularized feminism, and I think a lot of them are also going to be supporting this sort of Dink lifestyle. Like Chelsea Handler is such a perfect example, and no regular woman should be comparing themselves to Chelsea Handler because when you're a millionaire, it's very easy to do whatever you want, whether that includes having kids or not. Okay. But Elon Musk says there's an awful morality to those who choose not to have children. Several double income, no kids videos have gone viral on X. Oh, we're calling it X. Some lamented them for them choice, calling them genetic dead ends. Elon Musk chimed in and said there was an awful morality to couples who didn't have children. Okay, so he weighed in on this. Our favorite Twitter customer service representative, Elon Musk. He said the billionaire who has 10 known children. Isn't that funny? 10 that are known. Has long been outspoken about his views on having kids. When Business Insider disclosed Musk had twins with the Neuralink executive Siobhan Zillis last year. I didn't know about that. Did you guys know about that? I thought Grimes was the last person to have one of his babies. Damn. Okay. The billionaire tweeted, doing my best to help the underpopulation crisis. I can't not love him. He's funny to me. And that a collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger to civilization faces by far. And he's been outspoken about this for years. He he's always mentioning the birth rate being down. His latest comment comes in response to a video of a self-described the same DINK video that's been making the rounds. They talk about having no kids, going to workout classes and Trader Joe's on the weekends, skiing, golfing, vacations. I just would like to think that you can still make these things work in your life while having kids. BI reached out to the original poster of the video, a financial influencer named John Erringman, for comment. Oh, it's a new DINK TikTok.
We're dinks. We go to Trader Joe's and workout classes on the weekend.
We're dinks. We get into snobby hobbies like skiing and golfing.
We're dinks. We can go to Florida on a whim.
We're dinks. We're already planning our European vacation next year.
Dinks. We get a full 8 hours of sleep and sometimes more.
We're dinks. We get desserts and appetizers at restaurants.
We're dinks. We can play with other kids and give them back.
Hold on a second. When I go to restaurants with my son, we always get like appetite, especially when you get involved with Italians. There's always going to be appetizers. So I'm going to cross this one off the list.
Appetizers at restaurants.
We're dinks. We can play with other kids and give them back.
We're dinks. We still do it 3 times a week.
We're dinks.
Ew.
We spend our discretionary income on $8 lattes.
We're dinks. We max out our 401ks, Roth IRAs, and HSAs.
That's
We're dinks.
good.
We don't use our kids or dog as an excuse to leave a party. We just leave.
Okay,
We're
well you don't have to. That's just an easy excuse. We're just trying to be. I think people with kids are just trying to be nice. Be like, of course they just want to leave, but they don't want to say that. It sounds nicer to blame it on your kid than to be like, this party sucks. Usually I'm happy to hear about people having sex 3 times a week, but something about this couple, can't get excited about this. This girl needs a blonde highlight. Again. All right, good. You're maxing out your 401ks. Everyone should be doing that. You can do that whether or not you have kids. Yeah, 3 times a week.
We're dinks. We spend our discretion.
I think this also seems like a cope. Look at her face. We're dinks. I'm on drugs. I sleep 8 hours. We're in Florida. We're going to Europe. Ugh, Europe is trash now. Okay. Yeah, me and Frank we've been snowboarding since we met. So you don't not need kids to have a hobby. I wouldn't consider skiing snobby. What do you guys think? Trader Joe's. First of all, Trader Joe's is like kind of an affordable grocery store. So I don't know what that has to do with not having kids. We're dinks. Popular X account under the name Wall Street Silver, which has more than 1 million followers, shared Erringman's video saying that when these couples reach their 50s to 80s, they will be regretting this strategy. The strategy. Who knows? Maybe they won't. They just have to make sure they are. I think my biggest concern for people who don't have kids is like, do you have enough money saved up? Do you have a plan for when you are too old or too sick to take care of yourself? I would say if you don't have kids and you don't have a nest egg of that you're going to spend on your own health care, then that becomes tricky because you don't have that fallback of like, oh, well, just my kids will take care of me or they'll help me figure it out, basically. The video also caught the attention of Musk, who replied with his own take that there is an awful morality to those who deliberately have no kids. They are effectively demanding. Ooh, what an interesting take, Elon. They're effectively demanding that other people's kids take care of them in their old age. That's messed up. I mean, don't think of him I see what he's saying, but someone who works in the medical field isn't taking care of you out of the kindness of their heart. It's their job. So your care is going to be coming from people who it's their job rather than like they love you and they want to take care of you. While some agreed with Musk, others said that they didn't believe wanting care when older should be the sole purpose of having children. No, it shouldn't, but it is a very real consequence. Right. I mean, like, my dad took care of my mom when she had cancer and kind of basically insisted on doing it all by himself. So, and they were down in Florida, so it's not like we were all out there, like, dealing with her care. We'd visit her, but we were not involved in her care because we all live all over the country. I know lots of people in their old age and their kids, are living in the basement. They aren't taking care of their parents. Oh, this is another view. I know lots of people in their old age and their kids are living in the basement. They aren't taking care of their parents. An alternative health advocate replied. Well, it depends. Did the parents need help? Do they not? Are they renting it out? But yeah, okay. It is, but also many people have kids, but they don't visit or take care of their parents in their old age. That is also true. I also think the more kids you have, the odds are that at least one of them will give a shit about taking care of you as you get older. Another response read, also, it's like, if you have a good relationship with your kids and you foster that into their adulthood, they will be more inclined to care about what happens to you, I think. That's not the reason people should be having no, people that's not the only reason should be having kids. You shouldn't be having kids just to make sure you have a live-in nurse. But it's part of this duty that comes from, uh, just being alive. Like, you have a respect and a reverence for your parents, so I think most children do feel a duty to take care of them. Another video a day earlier by DINK, couple named Lily Ann and Evan Hall, both 21. That was the video we watched before. Where DINKs? They should have waited till it was, summer to do this video because they're just walking around in the snow. Hard to be jealous of this. You're in Utah with a sweatshirt. At least the other guys did their DINK video from Florida. Yeah, I wonder if there's just a larger trend of families not being as close as they were decades ago. Like, it's seen as a positive thing that you don't ask your family for any help or advice or things like that. That's something I struggled with too. I had a very hard time even asking my dad for like money for the wedding. I was just like, if it's okay, if you want to, if not, it's fine. The video amassed 3.7 million on TikTok. People are chiming in that they enjoy their childless lifestyles or chiming in with how much they love. It's easy to enjoy a childless lifestyle when you are 21, 25, 30 years old. I want to see the dinks that are in their 50s and 60s. Let me get some old dinks up in here. Largely, there was a disagreement. The commenters seemed respectful of each other's opinion on the matter. Calling someone a genetic dead end is funny. Enjoy your highly depressive and meaningless existence, wrote one person, while another described the video as a really sad narcissism. Another simply labeled the couple spoiled baby millennials, although they're both technically Gen Z. Lillian and her partner did not seem offended by the backlash. They posted 2 more TikToks, which they showed their lack of concern over the noise. Here's the thing, if you're really not concerned about it, why do you have to make a TikTok at all? He protests too much. This is what I just said. No one is talking about Gen X. Gen Xers say they like it that way. Yeah, it's funny. All right, like back to the dinks. Dinks, dinks. Let's talk about dinks. Look at this interracial dink. There's never been a better time to be a dink. Double household income with no kids winning the economy. Child-free couples have the most average savings and highest median net worth Out of different types of families, the DINK movement has gained traction in today's socioeconomic climate. And this is from a business perspective. This is Business Insider. It's a DINK economy, and we're all just living in it. One variant of DINK is the DINK WAD, double income couples with kids, but with a dog. Okay, that's kind of clever. It's a trend that's been on the rise as cash-strapped millennials and Gen Zers dream of simply of comfortable lives as they're increasingly shut out of. I think a lot of this is fear. I think a lot of millennials and Gen Zers are like scared shitless and they think they're gonna fall into poverty if they have kids, basically. They're shut at traditional milestones like home ownership and marriage. This is exactly the thing. If you're like in your 30s already and you're like, wow, there's no way I can even begin to afford a house. It's very easy at that point to talk yourself out of getting married and have kids because you're like, well, I can't even. I don't have the building blocks. I don't have a foundation for this. So what's the point of even wanting it? Just make TikToks about it and everything will be okay. As it turns out, that going child free is paying off. Couples with no children have the highest net worth of all other types of family structures. The median net worth of a couple with no children is around 400K. Wow. Over 100K more than it was in 2019. Who are they polling for this? Look at this, guys. They're making it look like if you don't have kids, you're going to make 400K a year, according to the Federal Reserve's survey of consumer finances. Meanwhile, couples with children's who have the second highest net worth of all types of families have a net worth of 250,600. Net worth by family structure. Okay, so single people with no children. This is your welfare. This brown line here. I'm sure the brown is just a coincidence. The green line is single with no kids, age 55. So this is like either an old dink or maybe a empty nester. I want to hear from the old dinks. That's what I want to do. Okay, this yellow line here is single with no child age. If they're less than 55. So maybe these are the old dinks. This is a couple with children. So a couple with children is making basically the same as a single person with no child. This red line is a couple with no children. I don't know. I feel like they're only kind of polling the cream of the crop for this red line right here, like young professionals. Interesting though. While this particular survey did not specify how many of these child-free couples are dual income, sky-high employment rates among working-age Americans suggest that a large portion of them are likely to have both members working. Yeah, of course. Like, who can afford to not work in this climate? As the Census Bureau found in 2021, childlessness is becoming more common among younger adults. Almost a fifth of adults ages 55 to 64 are childless. So, wow. Which, per the census analysis, suggests that childless adults will make up an even greater share of the older adult population in the future. It's going to be a bunch of child free old people. A separate Pew interview of 9,676 Americans found that that's that same stat, 44% of 18 to 49-year-olds who do not have children say they are not likely or not at all likely to have kids. Which means you better pray that a lot more people want to go into the medical industry then, because that's who's going to be taking care of everybody. Part of the rise of the DINK's economic power could be attributed to the unique pandemic economic conditions that changed how Americans spend and save, said Misty Hegelinis, an economist and a professor at University of Kansas. In 2020, consumption plunged and American savings skyrocketed. Homeowners benefited from the huge housing demand, and other lucky homeowners locked in low interest rates. Oh, that would have been a good time to buy the house. People who were able to save more because nobody was leaving their homes. Nobody was going to the movies or entertainment. People weren't paying for gas to drive to work. those who were able to start working from home essentially got a raise, right? Because you're not paying for commuting, you're not paying for your lunches out. Like when I started working from home instead of New York City, I saved a fuck ton of money. I was spending like easily 20 to $25 a day on food because not only would I be buying lunch, I would be probably buying dinner because I'd have to stay in the city and do comedy stuff. Plus commuting is very expensive. I think my monthly train ticket was like at the time per month, like 275 a month, plus you have to pay for parking, plus you have to pay 125 a month for the monthly subway pass. So it was like getting a raise because you're doing fewer costly activities. Some of those savings might ripple into an accumulation and increase in net worth. In fact, despite concerns that Americans had finally come close to burning through their pandemic savings, recent revisions told Americans still have 1.2 trillion in excess savings, according to JP Morgan. And according to the survey of consumer finances data, couples with no children had the highest average savings balance out different types of family trucks. I guess they're saying the average childless couple has on average 103K tucked away. The rise of DINK can be attributed in part to how millennials and the younger generations are reshaping traditional modes of partnership. Marriage is not really being promoted much unless you're like in these sort of conservative Republican circles online. Americans are increasingly getting married later in life or not at all. Millennials are leaving behind the idea of parenthood because they're scared shitless, I think, especially as they face increasing and feasible home ownership and the effects of climate change is not a real thing. It's not a real reason to not have kids. Sorry. What's more, the cost of raising one child to their high school years is estimated to be 310K. See, like you see something like this and it scares you out of wanting to have kids. The bulk of the median's DINKs net worth. Deciding to not have kids, instead just deciding to focus on our interests and our desires and what we want out of our life has given us a little bit more freedom, essentially to take advantage of the world now versus having to wait. And also, if you think the world is ending or burning down, or this is gonna be the last election, or if you're gloom and doom and black pilled, that's another reason to kind of convince yourself not to have kids. You're like, well, this is it. It's the last 20 years, so go hard. Uh, they're like, "Oh, well, we can't enjoy our lives till we retire," which is kind of a bleak outlook. And some of those socioeconomic shifts might explain why different types of family structures are doing better than others. For instance, single Americans with children have seen their net worth double over the last decade, and their net worth is outpacing younger childless singles. Maybe because they, I don't know how to work the system. Women who aren't coupled up but are taking proactive measures to start their own families, or like they're doing their own in vitro. The sequence was finding a mate, getting married, and then having children, right? But if social media and just our current culture is making it much harder for people to find mates, they're just gonna be like, well, fuck it. Marriage and children don't seem doable. If you had a child and your relationship broke up and you ended up being a single parent, lots of times in the past, those women were in much more vulnerable situations economically for various reasons. Now that rise in net worth might be due to the changing dynamics of how single parents are arriving at their destination. After all, it's almost like a luxury to be able to have a kid these days. Yeah, I see that. Wow. I think it's fear. You know who also is very interested in DINKs? The World Economic Forum, the WEF, is very, very curious about DINKs. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe because they promote depopulation and they don't want people to have kids. This is World Economic Forum saying any parent can tell you that children are expensive. Again, they throw at you how much money in the first year. You're gonna spend 12,500 in the first year. This is all meant to scare you out of having kids. There's less money coming in. It's compounding the financial burden of having a child. I just think that your life expands to fit your desires, and If you want to have a kid, you will do what it takes to be able to afford one. She finds that on average, households experience a significant decline in economic well being in the time at birth. See, everything in this article is meant to scare you. Having a baby this is World Economic Forum saying having a baby is enormously taxing both physically and emotionally. Yet many families today depend on women's income, which means that time out of the workforce can exact a huge financial toll because there's not a lot of paid leave policy. Many mothers must forego pay to care for their children, which is going to make a lot of women feel incredibly resentful. Once they return to work, many women face a motherhood wage penalty, especially at the bottom of the income spectrum. Men see a boost in their earnings after a birth of a child. While this can help offset the decline in the mother's earnings within a two-parent household, women's lower earnings potential means less income overall for families. Mean monthly level of income and distance from birth. I honestly don't understand this chart. Oh, okay. This is the father's earnings, mother's earnings. Looks about the same. Drop in parents' income around childbirth can have major consequences for the kids. Yeah, mentioning poverty. If you're born into poverty, you're at risk for preterm birth. There's nothing positive in this whole article. Wow. Inadequate family income is harmful for children, affecting their long-term social, emotional, cognitive, and academic outcomes. Are you fucking kidding me, man? We had 3 kids. My dad was making 30K as a landscaper. We all went on to get IB diplomas in high school. My brother and sister were A students. I was B plus student, but I was a student athlete, so cut me a little slack. We all did fine. This is all scare tactics. Particularly harmful for single mothers lacking support of a partner. They rely heavily, this is true, they rely heavily on public benefits, but that's what the government wants. Like SNAP, higher rates of maternal depression. I guess European countries have a little bit more support, a little bit more paid leave on childcare. Wow. Just all scariness from the World Economic Forum. Let's look at the other article. They really are pushing this. Okay. Why Americans don't want kids. This is just a couple years old, this article. More than half of non-parents, same stat, the same stat of 18 to 49, this bracket of people who don't want to have kids, 44% of them, right? Aside from medical reasons, the next most common reason for not having children was financial at 17%. 9% of respondents are put off by the state of the world. See, that's bullshit. Like, this is not a real excuse. Also, climate change, 5% is not a real reason. Like, even people in this survey are not citing climate change as a reason to not want to have a kid. I think it's fear. I think it's financial. Which brings us to I just don't want to. Wow. I just don't want to. I think this is an umbrella term for all these other for really, like, these top 3 reasons. I don't think people wanna say, "It's because I haven't found somebody." I don't think people want to admit to the fact that they're feeling financially insecure. I don't think people wanna admit to the fact, like, "Oh god, maybe it's too late for me. Am I too old?" They come to "I just don't want to." Sounds a lot better than "I'm afraid," or "I can't find anybody." And you add in social media and the DINKs, and you get 56% of people saying, "Oh, I just don't want to." I feel like the real number of "I just don't want to" is maybe like, I don't know, 10 or 15% or 20. Who knows? I'm obviously biased. Interesting, though, that medical reasons is so high. Are they talking about obesity? Are they talking about, like, people are just on too many pills? Like, I really was shocked to see, like, medical reason. I thought that was people thinking they were too old, but I guess, yeah, people have medical problems. I forget that this whole country's on pills. Looking outside their own personal situation, 9% of respondents have even been put off by the current state of the world. That's like negligible. 5% cited climate change. Those are just people who are trying to like impress the person taking the survey. Wow. All right. World Economic Forum definitely doesn't want you guys to have kids. Just saying. Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome.
Come and get it!
Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.